All right, so we're going to be talking about problem solving. Now, problem solving can be tons and tons of different things that could exist. So what we have to try and do is help you guys have some ideas of what some of these things are. We have to expose you to a lot of things, and hopefully you will be able to do well. So right down here where it says 17, 18, and 19, that tells us that there are going to be 3 questions asked about this particular part right here. And so without having like the paper in front, we're not 100% sure what things it might ask, but let's go ahead and try and think of some things that they could ask as we look at it. So what are some things that you think that maybe this looks like in there? We got some of this stuff down here. Maybe it's perlite. If it was perlite, it would be really, really fine. Perlite is something that allows for air to be in soil. It's crunchy, kind of like Rice Krispies, but maybe a little bit more dense and firm than that. All right. So what do we have here? We have an arrangement. So with this arrangement, there's going to be asking questions about things that are good about it or bad about it. And maybe unfortunately, we don't have the best picture in the world to be able to see that, but hopefully there's some things that we'll be able to pull out as we look at it. So what are some things that you guys see? Is it balanced?
There's a lot of carnations.
There is.
Right together.
Is that a bad thing? Not necessarily. Is it balanced? For the most part.
That one rose is just up there.
Yeah. Biggest thing I see is there's maybe a hole right here. What is the focal point of this arrangement? The lily, I would say, is probably that. Let's do a little slightly different angle, which I guess isn't that much. Okay. So here we have a pot. Obviously, we have some plants that are doing well, and this one's not doing well. So since they are some that are doing well and one's not, what do you think is the reason for that?
There's not nutrients in this.
If that was true, wouldn't they all do bad?
You just water that one part of the flower.
Possible, but as I look at it, that looks pretty evenly wet right there. Yeah, maybe. The biggest thing, and I'm not 100% sure because I can't see it in person, I see the leaves starting to curl on it. And so it looks like this one maybe got sprayed with some 2,4-D, and these ones did not. So someone's going by and they're spraying some stuff, and since that's on the edge, it drifted and hit that plant, but not far enough over. So maybe that's pesticide damage. Not 100%, but could be. Okay, so we have some type of pest or insect on that leaf. This is showing the back side of it. Can't tell for sure, but it might be aphids. Really dead. How come?
Probably not water.
I actually think it's the opposite.
It's super wet.
I think it's overwatered. So I think this is a plants that have been overwatered. The other thing it could be, but since this one's alive, probably not, it could be something that got frost damage in there. A lot of times when you see frost damage, you see some black to the plant as well. All right. So what's going on with this? Anything kind of stand out?
No.
Is there something like on that stem?
Nope. Look at the leaves.
Yeah, they're chewed up. Those two are chewed up.
Nope. These ones are green. And up here we start seeing some yellowing on the leaves. This has a plant deficiency on it. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring over this picture and see if you guys can tell me what that is. So here we have plant deficiency chart, and we can basically say, okay, is this happening just on the top? Is it happening on the older leaves? That helps us to know. You can see this will take some time to study as you do it. So calcium, if it doesn't have enough calcium, new leaves come misshapen. If it's iron, the young leaves are yellow and white with green veins. So if it's only the top ones, it's maybe that. If it's nitrogen, the upper leaves are light green, but down lower, they start to get shriveled. If it's potassium, there's yellowing on the tips and the inner leaves, and then down yellow patches as the leaf develops. Carbon dioxide, which I doubt we would see, where they'd be deficient. Manganese, there's holes. Phosphate leaves are darker than most of the leaves, and then manganese is the lower leaves turn yellow from outside going into veins, remaining green. So I'm going to move this out of the way. What do you guys see? Yellowing leaves. Are the veins stay green?
Yeah.
So if we bring that back, which one do you think that is?
Either nitrogen or magnesium.
Maybe potassium, because I don't know if the whole leaf is yellow or not.
So let's look. So it's either iron, nitrogen, or magnesium. So is it the young leaves, the upper leaves, or the lower leaves as we look at it?
We're looking at the top.
We're kind of looking at the top.
But there's some lower ones.
Do they look greener as you go down?
Yeah.
So we probably can eliminate magnesium. So then the question is it iron or nitrogen? Nitrogen upper leaves are light green, where lower leaves are yellow. Bottom and lower leaves are yellow and shriveled. Or iron, where young leaves are yellow and white with green veins, and mature leaves are normal. This is an iron deficiency in there. So I'm not sure on this one. So some type of pest. You have your pest list in front of you. Your pest and disorder sheet. If not, how would you guys kind of describe that thing?
Describe it.
Yeah.
Looks like a roly-poly.
Kind of looks like a roly-poly. Okay. It's got these long little tail-like things kind of sticking up. This is called a mealybug. Yep, a mealybug. So let me bring over a picture that's maybe a little bit clearer for you to see. Okay. So how are we going to remember that this is a mealybug?
The long tail.
Long tails.
And it's white,
It's white.
not brown.
So the mealybug wanted a meal of flour, and so it got covered in it.
What does it do to the plant?
What it tends to do is suck out juices out of the plant. And when they suck out juices, then that leaks sugar. And when there's sugar, then mold and other problems can come from it. So, mealybug. Right here. You see that? So the tips of the leaves are burned. So what maybe could cause that?
Like dryness.
It maybe could have got a little dry and that happened. I don't think that's probably. It could be over fertilized or overwatered.
So how come it goes to the edge of the leaf instead of like?
You know, that's a question I've never asked myself. I just always just kind of learn kind of the things to look for, but that's a great physiological question to try and understand. Partially, maybe that's where new growth is occurring, and so they're a little bit more susceptible to being injured than stuff that's kind of established. Okay. Maybe. Can't really tell. what's in there. So let me just go ahead, since we're not 100% sure there.
Are
I'll
those
just,
like the little like tunnel things going through it?
oh, yeah. Okay, I know what that is then. So what type of thing makes tunnels underground? No, what type of human?
Oh,
Minor.
A miner. And so what type of thing is this making a mine in?
Leaf.
A leaf. So this is called a leaf miner. So yeah, when you see those distinctive little tunnels going in there, it's done by a leaf miner. Good eye. You're welcome. That's an easy one. Slug. Could be snail if they had the shell on. Both of those are things that can pop up on the list.
White fly.
White fly.
Okay. There was like one of your tests and it like said whit fly through the whole thing and I was like, what is this called? But
Okay.
that's
Yeah, I had to kind of look. It's not the best picture, but yeah, these are teeny, by the way. I mean,
you want to be able to, like, unless you're really looking to notice it.
yeah, I mean, there'd be like this little white swarm kind of going in there. So that's a way enlarged picture of it. Okay, so now we have another plant. Which plants which leaves are being affected?
The lower ones.
The lower ones are. Okay, manganese.
I start with an M.
Yeah, manganese is one that gets a little bit of holes in there. So it could be that.
Grasshopper.
No, we'll need to get you guys a link to something that goes over these a little bit. So this is, I believe, a type of thrip that exists. So do you think that kind of looks like these?
Yeah.
Yeah. So these long little bugs are called thrips. And once again, these things are just teeny tiny in there as you look at them. So how are we going to remember what a thrip looks like?
What do they do to the plant?
Same type as the other one, just suck nutrients out. If I actually I think this is maybe about the size that they are. They're teeny in there. So just because they're little doesn't mean they can't do a lot of damage.
You got the flu.
So I think when we see these little dots in there, what I think that might be is something called scale. Scale are these little insects that they don't even really look like an insect per se. They look like they kind of look like a legless insect. And there's all different types of scale. So just these little teeny mounds. We can zoom in a little bit more. You have some scale that looks like this. Here's a really close one up. So it doesn't look like a little insect, does it? But it just hunkered it down. It drills a little well into the plant and just stays there and just sucks juice out of it in there. So it's hard for me to see on this picture, but that's kind of what it's looking like. Yep. So we can see these scales hunker down right there. And that's just the same plant. I can't tell what's in that picture. So now that we're getting back into plants, they're going to usually ask some questions about, is this plant an indoor plant? What's the leaf shape on it? Some textured stuff. Maybe that one has a problem, but I don't. Oh, right down here, yeah, has a little leaf burn on there, and I think that's maybe cold water damage. So
What kind of plant is that?
It's called a emerald ripple peperomia.
And it's an outside plant?
Indoor.
It is?
Mm-hmm.
The leaves are dead. It's just dead.
Yeah, I think that as I look at it, it's kind of hard. Do you see like how it's kind of brown and black? I think this is probably frost damage. What's going on? Dying. I think this is botrytis. Botrytis is a disease that causes flowers to prematurely lose their
Is that like
wings. So,
transferred to different plants?
yep. But usually it's on the petal part where we kind of see it. So sometimes I'll get a bundle of flowers. Oh, they look beautiful. And I start opening it up, and the ones down in the bottom middle have that botrytis, you know. I don't know what's going on with this, but let's go ahead. What weed is this down here? Oxyalis. So it kind of looks like a 3-leaf clover. And just remember, the ox like to eat 3-leaf clovers. Oxyalis. All right. So now we've got some of these products, and their questions that they're going to ask are going to be things like, what's the signal word? So down here at the bottom, we have the signal word, which is caution. There are 4 signal words, and they go in a certain order from least to most. The least one is caution, then warning, then danger poison. And the way we remember the order is Chad, warnings, dangerous, he'll poison you. So caution, warning, danger, poison. They might ask you what the active ingredient is. So over here, this is active ingredient, and here's the ingredient underneath. It may ask you the percentage. So can you guys see the percentage from where you are? 5%.
Oh, that one. Okay.
Under here, it says inert ingredients. Inert means just non-book good or bad stuff, type of stuff. So why don't they have this be 100% of the chemical?
Because then it would be like more dangerous.
Yeah, it'd be more dangerous and more strong. People would put too much down. So the problem is they could pack just 100%. We could dilute it ourselves, but they find that people aren't smart enough, and they go, "Oh, that's not enough to kill anything," and so they over apply. So a lot of times when we see that, what type of pesticide is it for? What does it do?
It kills bugs.
Kills bugs. And what do you call something that kills bugs? A pesticide. Anything that kills something is a type of pesticide.
Oh,
So what type of pesticide is this? What does it kill?
Bugs.
Another word for bugs.
Insects.
Insects. This is a insecticide. Now, is it a ready to use or concentrate?
ready to use.
How do you know?
It
It says ready to use. And what's the form? A dust? Right there. So it can be dust, it could be granular, it could be liquid. So if you just read, the answers are probably going to be on the label. This plant definitely has water damage on it. African violets are very, very prone to that. Okay, here's the one where it's asking for the weed, which we said is.
So what is that like? Does it just take nutrients from the?
Yeah, it's just unappealing, just not really great. It's hard to get rid of and to control. Like if you go out here to our place in front of the tech, in those little atrium areas, it's just covered with that stuff. Once you get it, you can basically never get rid of it. Okay, this one is kind of hard because we can't see too much about it, but we know from here that it's a dust. Looks like it's probably some type of, and since it's a dust, does that mean that it's concentrated or ready to use? Typically ready to use. Okay, so now we have, what's the name of this product? Decree. What does it do? Fungicide, kills fungus. What's the signal word? Caution. Does it look ready to use or concentrate? I would say it's probably a concentrate.
That means you have to mix it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so what is this thing? Insecticide. Is it ready to use or concentrate? Ready to use, and how does it dispense its insecticide? Yeah, so this is an aerosol type of one. Okay. It is specifically for,
Wasps and hornets.
and how does it dispense its insecticide?
Spray.
A spray, and probably since it's wasp and hornet, it comes out in a foam. So why does it come out in a foam? Yeah, so as it hits the nest, it expands the foam, and as they come out, they get covered in it. Because since it is in the nest, if you just sat there and sprayed it, it might only hurt the ones that came out initially. Once the foam's on there, plus it shoots really far, so you don't have to get close because wasps are scary. Okay, once again, some type of questions about that plant. Oh, it looks like there must be some type of insect right in there, which probably looking at the size of it could be an aphid. Oh, here we go. We should have started with this. This would have been nice, huh? No, but it's the ends. This is what we want. So what's attacking that plant? Aphids? All right. Should we go in reverse order and really see what's there? Yeah, go west. Okay. So this is aphids are sitting on there. Okay. Now another question it had is it says what type of mouth part does it have? So do you think aphids chew? They rasp, which means they rub and make a kind of a wound. They have sucking, which means they pierce and suck it out, or boring, where they make a hole.
They chew.
They suck. Aphids suck. Yeah, aphids suck. Okay. And then what product would you use to control this pest? And there was a few different options in there, which probably would be some type of insecticide in there. All right. So would you pick A? Would you use that to get rid of the aphids?
No.
This one?
Maybe.
Maybe.
It would be B because that's for fungus.
Mm-hmm.
Or that. I'd probably use the spray.
Yeah, you'd want to use the spray. And the thing you'd have to do is maybe see what insects it will kill. So you have to kind of look at that. All right. So the weed we said was Oxyalis. What did we say caused this? Water damage. Type of pesticide, insecticide, fungicide, herbicide, or biocide? Insecticide. What's the trade name? 7.5. Okay, let's go back. What is the percent active ingredient? 5%. Type of formulation? Dust. And signal word? Caution. So it's really the stuff we went through and talked about in there. Okay, so the disease on this: nemas, chlorosis, epinasty, tip burn. Tip burn. If we can see that. Okay. The symptoms is most likely caused by what?
Did you always say water damage?
No, this one right here, if this is number 12, is saying that it is, let's see, let's go back. I think this one's asking, so what's causing this one? This one has been caused by an insect. Is the reason. That's how kind of was looking. Okay. This is saying that this is normal dieback, so I apologize for that.
What is it?
So I'm guessing, so this is 15. So this is, nope, that doesn't make sense. I don't know. So this, these aren't making sense. So I don't know if these go with it. It's gonna be fun when people listen to these and see them, because I don't see thrips or anything showing up on any of these. So that might have been on another part in there, because as I look at 11, none of these things are there. Okay. So let's go back to the arrangement real quick, because I do have the type of questions they asked on that. So this is caused by root rot. That's what this is. So it is too wet. Okay, on this one, what is the color scheme on it? Contrasting, complementary, analogous, or polychromatic? Analogous, that means they're next to each other on the color wheel. Complementary mean they're opposite, like red and green are opposite, and blue and orange are opposite. What design element is missing or is wrong in this arrangement? Is there broken stems or blossoms? No. Is there incorrect stem lengths? A little bit. Not enough greenery? Uneven floral placement. What do you mean by uneven floral placement? Okay. This is saying inconsistent stem lengths. So maybe this one over here. And I realize that we're looking at a picture like this one's out really far, and then these ones are pushed in a little bit in there. All right. I do want to just do this, since there's always some questions about the greenhouse. What type of covering is the greenhouse? It's a double wall polycarbonate. What that means is that that plastic on the outside of the greenhouse has two layers. Double wall, made out of a plastic called polycarbonate. And then what type of structure is the greenhouse? A rigid A-frame. So that just means it's very, if you were drawing a house as a little kid, it goes straight up and then peaks. Ours would be a kind of a Gothic A-frame, is what the greenhouse that we have at the school. This is the type of corsage that you guys will be making.
Is that mine?
Maybe. Was that the perfect score one? So JC Kent made a perfect corsage last year. Just wanted to get that on the record. Simple, nice little bow, good taping, good flower placement. You can see there was some fern. What's that fern called? Ming fern. And then, was that a little leather leaf?
They didn't have very much leather leaf though. It was all like crappy.
That's right.